Now, let me just give a little bit of an intro on what we are going to discuss. Now, treating people with type 2 diabetes means to try to achieve as much as possible good glycemic control. And this is a constant feedback, and it's a feedback by measuring glucose and adapting, titrating the treatment that started with the very discovery of the first way to treat diabetes, like the insulin. Now, these are very historical pictures, you know very well, but pay attention. In the middle of the slide here, blood sugar, 12, injected, 5 cc. To me, this is the first example of titration based on the knowledge of what is the glycemic control, the glycemic level. And now, because of that, this has been really the mantra for treating diabetes, trying to measure and to respond to that measure. And this is a long history that is associated with that. We started off with measuring glucose into the urine, then we started off measuring glucose in blood by colorimetric system, and then we have the meters, and the meters have been evolved to smart meters, and then continuous glucose monitoring, the flash glucose monitoring. It has been an incredible revolution. It's also a revolution not just in terms of technology, but also in terms of the concept. Another, I think, a cornerstone in the treatment of diabetes has been the introduction of a glycated hemoglobin. And you know very well what A1C is. A1C is a way to reflect the average glucose a person with diabetes is exposed to. But if you consider very quickly and consider very well, you can appreciate that, yes, this is a good gauge of what is the glycemic level people are living with, but does not really reflect what is the time by time, moment by moment, minute by minute changes in glucose concentration. Here's an example here. These are two people, same A1C, 8%, but you can appreciate there's a lot of difference here. And the only way we have to really appreciate these differences is by measuring continuously the glucose. And because of that, you can now have this way that allow us to do those. And because of that, we can now have different metrics for glucose that incorporate into the metrics, not only what is the average glucose level, but also what is the fluctuation, the variation in that glucose. And this is reflected by the time in range. And by looking at this data, we're now becoming very used to use these metrics, and we have the reference for these metrics, as you know very well. These have been data that have been published 5 years ago. So this is the 5th anniversary of the metrics for glucose that derive from monitoring, time in range, time above range, time below range. I don't need to remind this, all of you. So it has been an important change. Measuring on time on point, integrated measurements, and now minute by minute continuous glucose monitoring. And this is important because this allows millions of people to really realize what is their glycemic control. You can see here what is the spread worldwide of the Libre system that allows up to 6 million people nowadays to be aware of what they are doing or what they are achieving and how do they can manage and correct and titrate that treatment. So it is the intention of this symposium today to really go through some of the features of the continuous glucose monitoring, particularly flash glucose monitoring, by discussing the sensors and how the sensors have been evolving, the heart and the glucose continuous monitoring, and then precision in practice and how we can interpret data and how this data that can be derived by the continuous glucose monitoring can inform us in our treatment.